This stuff hits hard. How's it going, slingers? So my last video had a pretty good response talking about an introduction into Butterfy, starting you with long draw. Today we're going to start looking more into it with figuring out your band sets as far as your active band set length and getting your length of draw. So getting your length of draw is really not too difficult. If you have a good tape measure, I could not find mine, otherwise it would be out here with us. I did take some measurements ahead of time before doing this recording, and that's mainly because I didn't want to have to lug out a 120-foot landscaping tape measure, basically. So I've already done a few measurements. I've got my notes here. One easy way to do this, and it was on Nathan Masters' Simple Shots videos for figuring out your draw length, is take the frame you're going to use, tie a piece of string, in this case it's micro paracord, tie a piece of string to a fork tip, at which point you're going to go all the way to your active draw length, which I'm pretty sure you guys can see me here. So the whole string is my draw length, at which point you would keep your finger pinned if you have more string than what you need, and then lay it down and measure it. Or keep your finger pinched and do like I did, cut it off, and then measure what you have there. So mine's in standard measurements came to 53 inches. From frame to the end of my string is 53 inches for my draw. Once you do that, and I know ATO also did a video on this, finding the stretch ratio of your bands. Once you figure that out, you take your draw length, which for me is 53 inches, or 135 centimeters. You take that and divide it by the stretch ratio of the bands. What you guys have seen me shooting in my little short that I did, where I shot the two shatter blasts and the bottle cap, those particular bands were cut at a 5-to-1 ratio, just a generic 5-to-1 ratio. So that means in a 1 centimeter square, or 10 millimeters, 1 centimeter square, I stretched it 5 times. Whereas the bands being used are the Omega White, the Lightning White .45. That's what was being used. These will, no joke, stretch out to 7 times. 7 times from what their relaxed state is. So that means if you draw a 1 centimeter box and you stretch it until it will not go no more and then measure it, it will be 7 centimeters from line to line in that box. So my normal band set, these are cut 290. When I tie on and everything, active will be right about the 250, 260. That gives me a 5-to-1 ratio. So what you do is you take your draw length, be it fixed, long draw, if that's where you come to, or the Butterfy. Take your draw length, divide it by the ratio, and I'll have all of this popping up. Divide that by your ratio, and that will give you your active band length. Now, active is going to be from your fork tip tie-on to your pouch tie-on. That's not going to be what you actually want to cut at. You want to add at least, if you're going in millimeters, at least an extra 20 millimeters. That gives you that room to tie on and to attach. You have to have that extra. So we are going to make a band set. I'm going to rearrange the camera. I'm not going to use my 4.5 to 5-to-1 ratio bands. I did the numbers, I did the crunching. What we're going to use is an actual closer to 6.5 to 7 to 1 ratio band. And yeah, we're going to see what this will do. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the camera here. And for you guys, it'll be a split second. But I'm going to pause the camera, take a minute to rearrange everything, get myself set up, and we're going to make the band set. I already had them pre-cut. I apologize for that. I have templates inside. That's what I use. We're going to rearrange you, get you down here on the tabletop, put this band set together, and then proceed to, as far as I can stretch, that 7 to 1 ratio band set and see how far this Omega white will really stretch. And at the same time, see if we can put a hurting on that can. Okay, so you guys are going to be more so looking down here at the table now. Got my band jig set up. I've got my 2 band sets. This band set is the set that is in that 5 to 1 ratio. This band set's closer to the 7 to 1 ratio. Overall here is 290. Overall here right now is 230. So we're not going to use this band set. This is what I do. This is the band set that I use for my everyday shooting. Mainly just for longevity. It'll last a little bit longer. We're going to use this set that's closer to 7 to 1. Set that there. Okay, you're going to need your favorite pouch, your band set, make sure you get it about an equal length when you do your tabs. Okay. I'm probably way out of the I'm just trying to get everything equaled out. So lock her in. Give her a stretch. And at this point, it's whatever you prefer to use for your band attachment. I like to use crystal string, or I like to use fly line backing if I'm doing a constrictor knot. If I'm just regular quick down and dirty, then I'm using crystal string. So 2 equal parts, roughly about 3 inches long. Okay. So we got our band and pouch set up, stretched out. A couple of quick wraps. And then just your average square knot on this part. I'm probably right in the view of the camera. So I did like roughly 5 or 6 wraps on there. Basic square knot to hold the crystal string in place. Nice little snip. Keep that there so we don't put trash everywhere. Pull everything loose. And then there you have your first band attached. I'm going to go ahead and pause y'all, get the second band attached, and then we're going to attach it to one of my F1 designs. All right? Okay, so we've got our bands made up. Okay? These are probably every bit of about 8 inches or 9 inches. Quick test. I don't always recommend doing this. If you do it, don't put it next to your face, don't put it next to your head or anything that you don't want to get hurt in case these slip. Give them a test pull. We're doing this to make sure that we got a good tie on the pouch and that these bands are not going to let go anywhere else. And these things are absolutely maxed. All right, Mikey Paul, chuck and steel, we are going to really see what this Omega White will do. And here comes an airplane. You know, if I didn't live in the landing pattern, I would have been worried because he was really, really, really low. But I live in the landing pattern, so I'm not worried about it. Keep waiting for the day one of those guys fly over and I get a piece of luggage in my backyard. I don't know why I'm doing that. I still need those out. All right. Attach them to our forks. If you are familiar with this, you've probably been doing this for a good bit. I use amber belt. Even with HDPE, I still use amber belt. I've just gotten really accustomed to using it. So we're going to go one wrap on the fork to start with. We're wrapping a half because I'm holding the wrong side of the frame. There we go. All right, we're going to go roughly 10 mils or 1 centimeter onto the fork tip with our bands. Do our first wrap. One of the ways I do amber belt, and it helps me a lot, it won't slip as long as you're keeping that tension on there and you're holding the amber belt in place the whole time. So stretch, wrap, move your finger, repinch. It won't go anywhere. So there's 2 wraps. Fold over our tag end. There's 1. Two wraps. Do I have my piece of string with me? Please say I have my piece of string with me. I do not. I guess I will have to cut this off. Okay. Button puller, since I don't have my string. Then we'll go ahead and do at least another 3 to 4. There's 1. There's 2. 3. 4. Push my button puller up. I must have picked the wrong time to come out here and do this because there's another airliner coming through. Normally it wouldn't be an issue because it's usually Embry-Riddle airplanes or Phoenix East airplanes. And those are little Cessnas and Diamonds, not airliners. Come on, button puller. I'm so used to using a string because I usually have a longer piece of string. There we go. Got it. Okay, button puller through. Okay, amber belt on. Band top half is on. Quick stretch. It's not going anywhere. For those that worry about my tie method, I do it the same on all my frames. Band grooves are not. I do 2 on the initial band, fold my tag end over, do 2 more, put my string on, do 3 to 4. Holds beautifully every time. All the time, every time. All right, I'm going to pause y'all, get this other band attached, and we're going to start smacking the can. All right, so we're back at it. Got our band set attached onto my F1 frame. It legitimately maxes at my full draw. Now, for those of you who are going to ask about the formulas, I tried to have them popping up here and there, but here are my notes. So your draw length, that was mine. That's in millimeters, that's in centimeters. Draw length divided by your stretch ratio equals your band length. In this case, it would be your active band length. So you still need to add at least 20 millimeters if you're going in the metric measurements to what you have. So 135 centimeters divided by 7 for the ratio would be 19.3 centimeters. The ones that we just did on this tadpole would have been 23 centimeters or 230 mil. Let's see what we got. So, same things you guys saw me doing in my last video, even with my draw demonstration. I'm going to take my ammo off my pouch because I'm aiming towards people's houses right now. I'm going to come up, find where my upper band is level. You can see through your peripheral vision if your band is level. I'm going to come back to my anchor point. Same thing, I'm going to make sure we're still level, and then push out. What that will do is that will automatically bring this band from here down to where your rough anchor point would be if you were to short draw. This whole time, again, with that illustration I showed, as far as the guy was way out here, but the band is still brushing my cheek. You got to have that physical reference to know where you're at. If you're too far away from your face, you're going to send it and it's going to go to the left. If you're too far into your face when you draw back, that's when you're going to get this, and those are butterfly kisses. Butterfly kisses are when the pouch grazes you or just flat out hits you, depending upon how far back behind your head you are. So, if you barely get a graze or you notice that it's shooting to the right, you're too far behind your head. You have to find that balance. Hence why I said when you get into butterfly, that draw back and then coming forward, you are fully going instinctive. You still have an aiming reference, but back here is all instinctive. So let's go ahead and see if we can put some on that cam. Whoa, these are hot. These are very hot. The band taper that I'm shooting is my normal 1610, but these are shorter than my normal active length. I go with the 5-to-1 ratio for the simple fact of band longevity. When you go into this more maxed ratios, like this is pretty much bang on 7-to-1, when you go into those ratios, you are going to lose your band longevity. You will have the power. It's definitely there. But you're going to lose that longevity. And I am just driving them into that same hole. I'm actually liking this setup. I am. I'm just driving them into the same hole or the same general part of the can. Goodness gracious. Guys, I'm going to have to come up with a review video for this Omega White. Like I said, I don't have a crony, but I don't think you need a crony to give an honest opinion and review. These things are nice in that ratio. Move up a little bit. Use up some more of that can. Whew, those are screaming. Okay, that's making your band set. I'm sorry that took so long. I was enjoying that immensely. But that's making your band set. So this is the set that we just made at the 7-to-1 ratio. All of maybe 8 or 9 inches right there active. This is the set that I have been shooting, which is in that 5-to-1 ratio. So you can see there is a difference there. Roughly at about, 30, 40 mil. So these are active 270, these are active 210 roughly, 210, 220. Do you guys have any other questions about long draw as I get ready to put together the next aspect of this series? Don't be afraid to ask me. Okay? Ask your questions. That's how we find our answers. So, in closing, I want to thank you all. Thank you all for your likes, your subscribes, your comments. I'm breaking, I want to say 750 subscribers here real soon. This is incredible, guys. I enjoy seeing that. I enjoy hearing your feedback. I don't know if some of you have noticed, but even people that are in foreign countries, that when they type and send a comment, it's in their language. I cannot read it. I will take the time to copy and paste that into a translator, translate what they've said, and then flip it, type my comment, and put it back on YouTube in a comment in their language. I really appreciate your guys' comments. I really appreciate your guys' feedback, positive or negative. Let me know what's going on. Let me know what you think. If you guys want to see anything else in the future, let me know. I will do my best to make it happen. In the meantime, shooters, this has been Chris with Backyard Slingshots. Keep it in the 10 ring.